am okay, got it. Sorry, unexpected. Um, but yeah, I've been working with them for a long time, and Dr. Lafapore, I also worked with him at West Gem. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard of his journal, but I've been working there as well. So we got this grant through the Office of Traffic and Safety to go ahead and try to make the roads safer for pedestrians and drivers and everyone really. But our main focus is pedestrians. So I just wanted to share a little bit about it really quick. Oh, the sharing's not on. Sorry. May I send the request? It'll go through. So this may have been the flyer that you guys saw from your cords. This is the flyer that we've been distributing throughout. And if you scan it or click on the link, you can go straight to our website. Let me see if it'll have to reshare. Yeah. Let me just go through it real quick. So this project is kind of like a piggyback from UC Berkeley's Street Stories, but just go a little bit further with it. So this is the first page if you click on the link. And then we also have Walk Safe, which is kind of a pedestrian guide to how to walk around safely, you know, not wearing headphones while you're walking, etc. And then we have a hazard radar because not many people know what to look at while they're kind of walking around. So we're trying to prevent tragedy from occurring. So this kind of tells you like, hey, are the street lights too light or not bright enough, I guess would be the correct term. Is it not bright enough for people to be seen well by motorists or anything like that? And then we do have the link to our Safe Trek. This is what they have, which is very similar to ours. And we also report there. And then we have an action tracker. So this shows all of the reports that have come in so far. And then you can click on it and kind of see like where we are in progress with it. So once you come on, you want to voice a concern, it's very simple. You just click on that link and then you can put a location. So here you'll see that it kind of defaults to this, whether it's a crash, a near miss, or a hazard. You can put any of them and then it'll show you like, hey, is it a pedestrian? Is it school-aged pedestrian, bicyclist, motorist, whatever it is. And you'll click on that and then it'll give you a few options from there. And at this point, you could mark more than one option if it's multiple things in the same area. Um, you can say when it's most dangerous. Is it morning rush hours? Does it even matter? Is it just any time of day? Does the weather conditions affect it? And then how often does this occur? Location details, because sometimes it's like an intersection or something like that. So this allows for you to put in those details like, hey, it's not actually the point that I located, but it's that intersection there or something. And then details on it, anything that you want to share. Once we get these reports, we actually will send it to our traffic engineer that we're working with. Our traffic engineer goes down to the site and will investigate it further, take a look, see what they notice, take pictures, if they're able to. There's been some locations that are a little too dangerous for them to exit their car, but if they're able to, then they'll take pictures and then they'll come up with an assessment and kind of ideas on how we might address those concerns. Once we get the report from our traffic engineer, we actually take those reports and we send them to the city officials for the appropriate city that it's occurred in. So it's all of Orange County that we're really targeting as far as road users' voice. And if you look even at our center for UCI Center for Trauma and Injury Prevention Research. We actually have a pop-up that usually comes up here. It just disappeared when I clicked on it. But we also have another link here to get to it as well. So this project is really near and dear to myself, last year I lost my little cousin to an accident, and he was actually the third death that had occurred on that same strip of road, and residents had really been fighting for that. So I feel like with this project, we kind of bridge that gap between the community and lawmakers and city officials, and we're trying to, assess things and prevent tragedy before it occurs. Sorry, I know that was really quick, but I knew that I also am short on time, so I didn't want to take up too much time. Um, if if you guys have any areas that you can think of, please share them, report them. We'd love to have our traffic engineer go and take a look and hopefully help make the roads safer even around the school, around your housing, community, anywhere of the such. And also, if you guys are in any other organizations or clubs on campus and you feel like, hey, this would be a great thing for them to hear, I would love to go to any of your club meetings or anything like that. I would be more than happy to go and kind of share more about this project that I think is really valuable for safety in our communities. Did you guys have any questions or anything that I can address? Hopefully that wasn't too long. Sorry, I know we're on a time crunch, so let me stop sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Cassie. I think, just to reiterate what Cassie said, this is just a way to preemptively try to fix our environment in our neighborhood. There's lots of cars. We're not going to get rid of them, but you guys and all of us love to enjoy the outdoors, whether it's walking from point A to point B to classes. Maybe on campus, it's nice and secluded, but then when you're off campus, you're on a sidewalk, the sidewalk ends. You have to actually then go onto the street, or you get to go into a bunch of cacti, which we're not going to do, right? So these are things, or you're like, hey, Mike, I live right there, but the next crosswalk is 5 minutes that way. Well, what are people going to do? Are they going to walk 5 minutes, use the crosswalk, and walk back another 5 minutes? No, they're going to cross the street like Frogger. And so these are things that we'd love to hear you guys and your voice. So this is like your community. And whether you live on campus, next to campus, or off campus, it's really cool. I'm part of this program as well, and the traffic engineer curates it and comes up with kind of a semi-official recommendations to the city. So with some luck and perseverance, changes can be made. So it's actually pretty remarkable. So. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. BC. I didn't see you in there, so limited view. Did you guys have any questions or anything that?
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Cassie?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, first off, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry to hear about your that must have been very devastating for you guys. But thank you for taking the time to make this initiative for us. I'm sure it'll touch on. I wanted to ask if in your current data that you guys have collected so far, is there anything interesting that you guys have found or ways that we can help out the protection right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you broke up right at the end. Is there anyone?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there's any current data that you guys have found so far that's kind of interesting that you'd like to share, or anything that we can do to help the pedestrian population.
Oh, she might have dropped off. Well, here's one anecdotal thing that we did. So there's a bike path, and all of a sudden the bike path disappears, and you have to cross this major street. It has 4 lanes, and we had a few people, mostly I think some bicyclists, but also some drivers say this is a dangerous area. And it was like a location, but we weren't sure what the heck was going on. But we went there, we looked at the street, then we did a Google map thing I think we figured it out. It was the description that people put into the website wasn't as great as it could have been. And I understand, you're like, you're doing this kind of quickly, somebody investigate this, I don't know, but the more information we get from all of you, the better it is. So that ended up being, and a response to the city, and then now we wait for what the city will do. So the city may put some sort of, stop sign there, that could be a possibility, or they may put some better signage that this is where bicyclists are crossing. But either way, this was a really cool investigation and hopefully will lead to some outcomes. Now, this program just started maybe 3-4 months ago, so we are waiting to have some solid return on investment, which sure we will.
Yes, thank you, Dr. BC. Sorry, it was cutting out, so I was trying to see if shutting off my camera would help a little. Also, more recently, we did receive some feedback on one of our reports from one of the cities who mentioned in their email, "Hey, we've never even heard of this area being an area of concern." So that was really cool too, because that's really what we're trying to do, right? Like bring awareness to these areas that the cities might not be aware of. And so that was another really great thing to see, was that we are closing some of those gaps.
Looks like no further questions, Cassie.
All right. Thank you so much for letting me share. And as mentioned before, we'd be more than happy to share this project out as well. And if you guys share it out, if you guys have any places to report, I showed you the form. It's super quick. It takes, less than a minute to do. So please, let's make these roads safer. Thank you. Have a great one, guys.
Welcome to stay.
That's it. Okay. Well, we're really, really, really excited to present and announce our next speaker, who will be actually Dr. Alaman. He is currently the Wilderness Medicine Fellow, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about what wilderness medicine is all about. Dr. Alaman.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for inviting me. This is amazing. I tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Abner. I'm originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I did medical school over there and then moved to Brooklyn to do my emergency medicine residency in Kings County Hospital. When I moved to New York, I kind of like started missing the outdoors and my culture, so I started traveling a bunch, especially to South America. And I started doing this kind of like crazy outdoors activities, alpinism, mountain biking, and stuff like that. But then I was like, okay, but this is kind of like scary. Is there a way to do this safely? And is there a way to combine what I know in medicine with all of these things that I enjoy doing? And I kind of like discovered wilderness medicine when I was in residency. So I decided to pursue that, and that's kind of like the reason I'm here. I also moved here to the US because I'm interested in education and working with medical students and residents. So very excited to be here with you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and share a PowerPoint. It's like a short presentation. It should take like 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of like open the floor for questions or discussions, and we can go from there, okay?
Doesn't sound good.
Yep, give me a couple of seconds.
Let me know if you're not able to share your screen. Oh, perfect.
Can you guys see this? Well,
Yeah, we can see it. Looks good.
awesome. So yeah, let's talk about wilderness medicine, what it is, how you can get into it, and what can we learn from it. So this is kind of like the topics we're going to be discussing in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. So what is wilderness medicine? So wilderness is the environment that is hard to live in, meaning humanity has the capacity to go and pass through, but it's very, very hard to settle in those locations, either because of temperature, lack of resources, maybe it's an area that is too high, maybe you cannot do agriculture in those areas. And so people tend to travel to those places no matter what, because even though sometimes life is not sustainable, maybe there's some beauty to see in those areas, or there's some resources, mining, or stuff to acquire in those areas. The issue is that those remote places can be dangerous, and not only they are inherently dangerous, but also they are far away from civilization and from medical care. So wilderness medicine is essentially providing medical care in these scenarios. And when we talk about wilderness medicine, many of you guys might think, actually, this is what I thought initially when I was discovering this world, is maybe like improvising with sticks and stones and kind of like carrying people with just a rope and stuff like that. And yeah, that's part of it. But if you're a professional within wilderness medicine, especially the wilderness EMS world, then you gotta prepare yourself. So a lot of the stuff we know about the wilderness medicine and a lot of the research actually comes from EMS and the military. And it's just because they have been doing this for way longer than wilderness medicine has been established. Also, there might be an issue of like maybe there's more money for the military than for people who are interested in doing wilderness medicine research. However, this is kind of like new as we will discuss, and we kind of like have been making advances in the last couple of years within the field. So when we think about when did we begin doing wilderness medicine, is essentially since the earliest human. The earliest human had to learn how to survive, how to not be cold, how to acquire clean water, how to clean wounds, on all of those things. And of course, there were no hospitals in the early ages. In the 70s, there were some physicians and guys that started to discuss mountain medicine topics. And slowly, all of those interests started getting formalized, and the WMS, or the Wilderness Medical Society, was invented in 1983. But it wasn't until the 90s where they published the first wilderness and environmental medicine kind of like um, paper. So since then, wilderness medicine has been like slowly growing until what we have today. This is the Himalaya Rescue Association Clinic. This is located in Nepal, and this doesn't look like very fancy or anything like that, but it's one of the most important clinics in the world within the wilderness medicine world. So people who want to like learn about altitude sickness, they go to this location to spend months. Most people spend about 3 months over there, and they are kind of like the people who do the most amount of research, teaching, education in altitude medicine, just because it's what they see every single day. So there's uh, a lot of topics within wilderness medicine, and a lot of things you guys can do if you're interested. You can do mountain medicine, you can do disaster medicine. Where I'm from in Puerto Rico, we did this all the time with storms and hurricanes. There's marine medicine, which is one of the topics Dr. Algasa is very interested in. Tactical medicine is essentially medicine in areas of conflict or where there's police or military involvement. Um, there's tropical medicine, international travel, or international medicine, which also has its own fellowship as well. There is search and rescue, which is what I'm currently interested in. And I will add to this presentation space medicine. There's also a space medicine fellowship. They do it in Boston. I'm not quite sure if there's another one, but there's one in Boston. And I think, when we think about remote locations, we got to think about space. And I think this is gonna get increasingly more important as we expand space travel to kind of like the kind of like travels just for fun, which we started doing. So very cool things we are doing within wilderness medicine. So I'm not gonna mention all of these topics, but there's a lot of topics, and all of it, each of these has a lot of research and a lot of stuff to do. But altitude disorders is one of the most common that people get interested in initially when they discovered what wilderness medicine is. There's also cold and hypothermia, evacuation techniques, which I think is kind of like one of the most important topics, considering in wilderness we can do certain amount of things, but sometimes evacuation is the most important thing we can do for a patient. There's lightning, trauma, inflammations, and that has to do with animals and plants. This over here is a gamma bag. I don't know if anyone has seen this, but it's essentially a bag where you put somebody in and you can give them oxygen and increase the pressure in the bag. And it's one of the treatments for people who have acute mountain sickness. So in the clinic that I showed you earlier, they use this pretty often. So why should I participate? Well, number one, and I think the most important thing is fun. It's very fun. I'm sure you guys enjoy outdoor activities. Doing it safely is one of the most important aspects of doing any kind of activity. But also in terms of you guys are interested in emergency medicine, and in emergency medicine, sometimes we don't really know what's going on with a patient. That's very, very common. And we need to start kind of like using the resources we have to take care of our patients. And I think wilderness medicine helps us a lot to kind of like build this foundation and try to some people might say improvise, but I would say more using the resources that you have in a smart way. So there's many ways to get involved in wilderness medicine, and I think the easiest way for you guys is just to, ask me, what am I doing? And then there's, a couple of things that we do. There's a wilderness medicine group that some of the medical students are part of, and we essentially meet every month to discuss a paper, or for example, last month we did, or earlier this month we did camping, and I am try to kind of like continue teaching and learning from you guys as well through the year. Otherwise, there are big societies like the Wilderness Medicine Society, which is the biggest wilderness medicine association within the US. There's others across the world, but they definitely have a lot of opportunities in terms of research, but also activities for anyone who is interested. And for medical students, like there's a price to pay to become a member, but it's like lower for you guys. You can also there's wilderness medicine electives. You can do them here in UCI, or you can also see what other people are doing in Denver or Utah or any place you want to go. There's research, there's outdoor groups, a bunch of stuff to do. So there's different conferences that the WMS does across the years. They do the big ones are the summer conference and the winter conference. But also there are other activities that you can do. For example, the AWLS, which is the Advanced Wilderness Life Support. There's a society called the Knolls, and they essentially recruit leaders and they take them to the outdoors. They do very fun activities, but it's a little bit expensive. But if you wanna make a trip to, let's say, Argentina or someone in Europe, um, anywhere in Canada, some places in the US. You can do that with those groups who are experts in wilderness medicine. The only caveat is that you gotta take like 2 weeks to a month to do those experiences. And it's a little bit expensive, but there's a bunch of stuff they do, and they also publish some research based on the activities they do with leaders in the world. There's also a diploma in mountain medicine. There's also a DIRIM, which is a diploma in diving medicine. I'm currently doing the diploma in mountain medicine. And the idea is to become an expert in physiology and pathology that occur in the mountain, but also kind of like understand how to do basic rescue techniques, either for yourself or for your loved ones when you are in these settings. So there's around 20 fellowships at this point, and they continue expanding. Many of them, so we try to kind of like teach the same thing in every fellowship, but usually these are 1 to 2 years, so there's a lot to learn. So people might focus on some things versus others, depending on what the fellow is interested in doing. For me, it's more mountain medicine, search and rescue. Um, but also it all depends on where you're doing your fellowship, right? If you're in the middle of the desert versus in the mountains, then your fellowship might look a little bit different. Having said that, there's a bunch of travel. I just came back from Utah. I was doing medicine for these crazy ultra runners who were doing believe a 275K ultra marathon from the Grand Canyon. Many of them were dehydrated, had a bunch of blisters. They were, not in great shape sometimes after all of that exposure to sun and heat, as well as physical activity. But it was very fun and very rewarding. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of activities to do within the wilderness medicine world. It's we are expanding what we think wilderness medicine is and where we're going. As I said earlier, we thought wilderness medicine was kind of like using sticks and stones and improvising, but it's not. It's actually you should have a plan of what you're doing, and now we understand that we need to carry medications and carry an AED and carry STEM splints and stuff like that. And we just got to be ready for the environment we are going to and understand that we are the experts in medicine when we are in this kind of environments. So that's about it for my presentation. I'm very excited to kind of like share some thoughts with you guys. I know you guys are also interested in research. I can talk a little bit about what I'm doing in that regards. I not the biggest researcher in the world, but that's one of the reasons I'm happy to be here because I know we can exchange ideas as well and work on some stuff. So is there any questions so far?
Do you have any research opportunities that our MRAPers who are interested in wilderness medicine participate in or learn about?
Yeah. So my project right now I'm working on is search and rescue. So I'm interested in satellite communications. I don't know if you know I'm pretty sure many of you guys know this, but now Apple and recently Samsung has introduced satellite communication within the smartphones. And it's kind of like somewhat limited to the US and some part of the world. But I believe more and more people are gonna start using that as their primary backup device in case of an emergency. So I'm kind of like trying to see trends in terms of search and rescue activation using this new technology within smartphones. So classically, so the people who initially invented satellite devices for communications were kind of like in the military. And then eventually they started creating commercial devices. One of the most famous ones, it's called the Garmin InReach that many of you guys have probably seen. It's like a small device that has limited capacity and you send some text messages, but also there's a button that says SOS. There are other devices that kind of like get connected to your cell phone, and you can send text messages through that satellite device. But now with this new addition technology, I believe maybe investing 300, 400, $500 in this new device, maybe people are not going to want to do that and they're going to start using their cell phones. Having said that, I'm a little bit concerned about that, considering maybe, your cell phone might not be completely waterproof. Maybe if you are below freezing temp, might not act equally. So not really sure if relying only on an iPhone in the wilderness setting, it's actually a good idea. But the main thing I want to know at this point is what are the trends in terms of satellite phone activation of search and rescue teams and whether people have started using more this technology within uh, on Samsung. So I'm currently kind of like doing the IRB for that. I have one medical student who is interested in working with me, but if you guys want to work on that, I'm happy to kind of like collaborate with you. There's also, so I'm working also with other medical students. For example, Brandon Doan, he has been doing for a while a research project on altitude medicine and dehydration, or hydration, as you said. And he essentially uses BTI, which is one of the measurements we can do with like an ultrasound to see how reliable we can predict symptoms of acute mountain sickness with findings on the hydration status in an ultrasound. And so they have some data already. They did this study, I believe, like a year ago, but we are continuing working on the study in Mount Whitney. So that is something that I'm also doing with them. And I believe Catherine Hanna, she's doing a study in Yellowstone, where she's essentially trying to understand what are some of the most common injuries that happen in Yellowstone and whether those injuries are seasonal or associated with the environment and climate change through the year. Um, but also, I'm happy to kind of like listen to other ideas you guys have. And, as I said, there's a lot to do and a lot we can kind of like think about to create new opportunities. But also, if you guys want to know about like places to have fun and just activities to practice your technical skills, I'm also happy to give recommendations and stuff like that.
Thank you, Dr. Alaman. Yeah, we are, through MRAP, we're really trying to help support our junior faculty members and beyond to help them in any which way. So if search and rescue is kind of your newest area of interest, we'll have the MRAPers here and maybe come up with a few ideas that are finite, either retrospective or chart, or like a scoping review or something like that, that would help maybe support your next steps with getting cell phone / satellite data. That may be kind of a multi-step process where you have to get agreements with these companies and so on and so forth. But maybe a lot of this background work can be done with this mentorship relationship. And so we'll come up with some ideas and shoot you an email. And you, of course, you and Dr. Algazi will be the expert content. So if If you think they're ridiculous, just let us know. But if you feel they're somewhat intriguing in your line of work, then we'll obviously be happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy to collaborate, and I like that you're thinking ahead. And I didn't even mention this, but you talked about the challenges of obtaining this data from companies, and that's kind of like where I am at this moment. Like probably Apple or Samsung or Garmin are not going to provide me the data I want, and they might kind of like give me the data they want me to have. You know what I mean? So that, of course, are some of the challenges of doing the research. But I have other ideas in terms of like how to acquire data that might be more kind of like contacting California Dispatch or maybe going to local search and rescue teams and kind of like acquiring data from them. And, it'd be very helpful if you guys collaborate with me in those things. All right, any other questions? Anything else I can do for you guys?
Johanna.
I have a clarifying question. Thank you so much, Dr. Aleman. This is so fascinating. For those of us that would be interested in the future and the fellowship that you're offering, clarifying, would it require residency in emergency medicine, or can you go into this fellowship with any residency, I guess you can say? What would be the steps for us in the future?
Yeah, great question. And I meant to actually cover that during the presentation, but I forgot. So the classic fellowship, so people who do that, they do mainly emergency medicine residencies, and some of the fellowships they are open to people who do family medicine residency. Having said that, that's kind of like the classic 1 year fellow. But let's say you're interested in ortho, but also enjoy doing wilderness medicine, then there's other ways you can do uh, your fellowship through WMS. So they actually offer the fellowship of academic wilderness medicine through their site, and the way you do it is by going to some of their activities. Some of them are online and some of them are in person. But for example, if you do the AWLS that I mentioned with them, you're just gonna learn. So it's kind of like they do PowerPoints and teaching in cool places. Like for example, there's one happening in Utah in 2 weeks. And I know that because some of my friends from other fellowships are going to be teaching that, among which some of the faculty members of their program. And they not only you kind of like do PowerPoints and do academic stuff, but also they usually take some time to do stuff in the mountains or in a lake and stuff like that. And you can also you don't do them in the US. They do one, I believe, in Costa Rica as well, which counts for their credits. But essentially, what you need to do is complete a certain amount of credits. And the way to do it is, you can do those activities, or maybe go to the summer conference, winter conference. If you do the diploma of mountain medicine and the diploma of diving medicine, that also counts toward the credits. So there's definitely many ways to get that. Some people are not necessarily interested in doing the fellowship of academic wilderness medicine, and they might be interested of just doing the diploma in mountain medicine because that's what they are interested in doing. But if you do the 1 year fellowship, if you go through the emergency medicine and family medicine pathway and do the 1 year fellowship, then that's kind of like a dedicated time to build up that knowledge, which is kind of like what I wanted to do. But that's not the only path, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
I just had a question also, Dr. Alaman. What are your favorite areas of research right now? What do you use like some of the most exciting stuff that's coming out of wilderness medicine? Is that
Yeah. So, search and rescue for me is very interesting because so if you compare, so search and rescue, most of the teams over here, they are just volunteers, uh, people who are really overqualified, and who risk their lives, but they don't get paid. And these search and rescue kind of like teams, they create their own protocols, but there's no there's no kind of like universal protocol for this. And there's a couple of things that I think make this the way it is. So number one, wilderness medicine is kind of new, right? So many of the data we have actually comes from the military and from the from EMS. Number two, the protocol that works in desert is not going to work in water, right? So those are two different scenarios, or it's not going to work in the mountain. Um, there's also so in Europe, for example, they have sometimes kind of like better protocols that are a little bit more universal for them, but they also get paid for what they do. So I don't know if it has to do with the incentive, or maybe this is just new. I'm not really sure about the answer. But if you take a look at the WMS kind of like, so they do recommendations for different topics. And if you take a look at the data, most of it is like 2A, 2B, meaning we recommend this based on the limited amount of research we have, but there's not much. But either way, we still recommend this because we don't know what else to recommend. But you know, it would be great to do more research in terms of what works within search and rescue, and actually do protocols that can be established a little bit better and more universal. Having said that, in the US, they have done a lot of advancements within the field. And I know that because I was talking to some people from South America. There's an organization called LACAM that I met through people I met in the summer conference in WMS, and they were talking about how they don't have any protocols at all. So, for example, we all know about Stop the Bleed, which is a protocol that we take from EMS, right? And we know about TXA, and we know about tourniquets, and we know kind of like the limitations and of those techniques. Having said that, I mentioned that to this EMS technician who is also in the military and does search and rescue in Chile, and he was telling me that there's no like protocols for that. So we have made a long way. There's more stuff to do, but certainly we can also help each other within countries. We can learn from Europe, we can teach in South America, but also learn from other people. So that's one of my biggest interests.
Okay, I see. So if I were just to quickly clarify, like the gaps are for you, like one is maybe it does exist in the literature that there are some protocols that may exist. This is worth exploring in itself, but also two is like actually developing some protocols themselves, like they have yet to even just straight up be developed as protocols in general. Is that kind of
What was
the two?
the last part you said? Sorry.
Yeah, is it that they're just lack the protocols, not even in the literature, that still just need to be developed in, especially like say these rural areas like in Chile and whatnot? Or are
Yeah,
there?
so there's protocols. It's just like some of the protocols are not necessarily evidence-based. And they might not be evidence-based because there's no enough quality data, right? Um, the way I look at it, and I don't know if I'm right in this, but sometimes, like for example, there's a bunch of cancer research, but that gives pharma and hospitals a lot of money, right? But many of the research in wilderness medicine doesn't necessarily contribute monetarily to many people, so it's kind of like more limited. That's also the reason why there's a lot of people who do wilderness medicine as volunteers. But you know, slowly this has been changing, and people have been trying to take the field more seriously, which I'm super excited about. But so yeah, so to answer your question, there's protocols, and there's some evidence, but the evidence is not high quality because there's not enough research to support that, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Dr. Alaman. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. And also I'm gonna add, so some of the research we have comes from like hospitals, but what we do in the hospital, we cannot necessarily extrapolate and apply to the wilderness. So we still need to continue doing research that is wilderness related instead of extrapolating data from other fields.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Alaman. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for inviting me. You guys have my email, so feel free to contact me with anything, either for research or activities or education. I'm available for you guys. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That's or
I'll try reaching out to him regarding. I think it'd be cool if we were able to connect with the wilderness medicine interest group. I've seen they go to like wherever they go to like some Oak Mountains, Lumber Hills, and stuff. It sounded like they went to even one camping recently, which is pretty awesome. So definitely reach out to wilderness medicine interest group. And I was just looking if there's like a bibliometric analysis in wilderness medicine. Doesn't really look like there is. So maybe that's worth exploring as well. So yeah, we'll look into those too. Besides that, a couple of quick announcements. More quick announcements. Socials. You guys want to share?
So we're gonna be having a movie night next week. It's gonna be at the BDC like theater. Yeah, Tuesday. It's gonna be like after meeting or like it's like a theater at BDC. So we reserved it from 8 to 11 p.m. But I don't think the meeting's gonna be that long. So I was thinking maybe we could go and get snacks or food after, or we could do another run club after. We can talk about it. But then also on the Slack, we put different movie options. I think we had Ratatouille, Spider-Man Homecoming, or La La Land. So if you haven't voted yet, please vote. That's it for that. And then for the costume contest, it's gonna be Tuesday, 10/28 during meeting. And for the theme, I feel like not everyone voted, so we're just gonna do a blind vote right now. 5. Let's try it. Oh, I thought we wanted to. Because not everyone voted.
won by
landslide. Did it win? Oh, I didn't check.
Oh,
Did it win? Okay, so we can say it won.
No, it was like, what, everyone that hasn't voted right now, just go vote right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that then. Sorry. This is a lot of pressure. But if you haven't voted, please vote because the person who wins will get a prize. So like, go all out. Like, don't. Wait, let me see. What's
Trying to do it.
People are so voting.
Wait, guys, there's not that many votes.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
We're not looking at names. Like, don't feel pressure.
I'm
Yeah,
looking.
okay.
Why? No, I mean, like, don't feel pressure. Like, choose what's in your life.
I'm together by myself. I'm eager to have that help. Yeah. So I'll probably.
Oh shoot, that's high.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Can everybody vote?
Oh! Superheroes, this is my one. Guys, who hasn't voted? I will find So what do you want? Okay, we're gonna. Should we just close it on Friday? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna close it on Friday because we need to give people time to get their costumes. So vote before Friday. I'm gonna put that. Inside out.
We'll confirm it at next meeting. Okay. Yeah.
See how many people want to take.
Oh, I just got a message in the Slack. Oh, yeah. Please like the message in the Slack. I believe it might have, should have scheduled that. Let me check in the announcements.
You guys
Yes.
want to like it like now?
Like the message if you are interested. Again, super chill conference opportunity. Like, I think I just submitted my year out poster. It was great. So,
The food was
oh, yeah,
good.
food was good too.
was good.
I went for an hour. I talked about life. Like, we didn't really talk about research too much, but it was great. It was really fun. Yeah. And,
Wait, where's?
in the announcements channel, you can. Oh wait, where is APAMSA?
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was literally in Plumwood House, and I just used my computer too. I didn't print out a poster.
Oh, yeah.
Would we be presenting our individual studies data or MRAP as a whole? Like, what would we be?
Individual studies.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
But if you still want to come, you can like hop on a project with someone else. And then it's very low key. The posters were in this room. There were like no adults in the room. I met Koi. Like, I talked to Koi the whole time. And right, it was fun.
The reason why we're asking for interest right now is because, we can generously offer to like,
I'm not paying.
well, I know, but like, handle like the coordination. No, he'll be helping to coordinate the finances and stuff, so we'll all be like selling him our individual costs, if that might go. But we're gonna try to register the groups, if you guys are interested, just like the message, like right now.
By the way,
I'm gonna ASAP, like right now.
It's $30 each.
It's not 30. You can also attend for fun. There's a whole like schedule. It's pretty chill and fun. It seems like there's guest speakers, food, big like suturing workshop.
Yeah, you get to meet a lot of like med students. They're really friendly.
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
Network now.
What time is it? Is it on the website? It was like just a whole day. It was like 8 to 5. Oh. Something like that. Yeah. If I'm not
But
mistaken.
you don't need to show up
I guess
at
you can like come and leave whenever.
Yeah, 8:15 to 4, but then the actual presentations are 12:15 to 1:45, or 12:15 to 1.
you can present a digital poster or a digital presentation. It's very low key. It's just good practice for your op. It's a good first experience for new people. So, and you can put on your CV, but that's not too important. Right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
The learning is important.
Very good.
Anything else, guys?
Can I repub the SP opportunity?
Please.
Oh, yes.
Hi, everyone. Just a reminder that the SP opportunity on the 14th is still available. So if you are a low BMI male and you are interested in being a SP, it is on the 14th from 9:30 to noon, but it's out in Palm Springs. So if you have transportation and you're interested, it's a really good like patient perspective opportunity. You can write about it in your apps and stuff, but just message Ryan or I. Thanks, y'all.
Okay.
Besides that, I mean.
Wait, let's just, because I didn't know. Shout out to like. Really quick, we know it's 5. Wait, stay after if you want to see all the courts do the drive sober challenge.
Yeah.
But we'll shout out some numbers and stuff. Let's see. There was something to.
28.6, yeah.
Wait, yeah. I
It was the PC, but I was gonna do 4 PCs that day, but then one of them slept. And then I was gonna ask Dr. Fuchs to do all 4, but then he ended up doing 2 of them, and one of them Dr. Lopez did, and then the 4th one he ended up falling asleep. Even though I got consent, he fell asleep. So I felt bad.
just could have gotten that 20.
And then we also had like a really exciting ESPD. Talking about
Hey, Dr. Fox did it.
No way.
Wow. Anya, anything?
Oh, that was all Tyler the whole time I was working on an unhoused enrollment. I come back and Tyler was like, yo, let's go do this. I was like, what? So that was all him. It was crazy, crazy to watch.
How was it? Yeah.
Oh, so awesome. It was so cool, dude. You gotta get one. Low-key, it's so sick. Like, okay, low-key, it feels like something that like only Dr. Fox would do, but it low-key isn't. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if he was low-key talking me through it, I could probably guide that dude. Like, yeah, it was just it kind of stunk because it was in ED2. It was in it was like a tight space, and then the bed was like arranged in a funky way so that it was like even tighter. So the ultrasound machine was like behind. So like we all had to crawl like into the room so that we could see the ultrasound machine. But he had a medical student that was there with him, probably like following him for the day. And he was walking him through like the ultrasound. He's like, yeah, so look, like this is the transverse process. Like if you go through like the study manual on the ESPB, it's like talking about all the ultrasound images, like you see it in real time. And then when they put the needle in, you can see like the needle like working through the muscle on the back. It's awesome. And then when he starts pushing the anesthetic, or whatever doctor starts pushing the anesthetic, you see like a wave, it's like a cloud of black kind of like move across the transverse process. It's super cool. And then the patient was a trooper. Like, I don't know how they did it, but they were just kind of like hanging out like this the whole time, like not a sound, just from time, maybe like, but like crazy. Like if that would have been me, dude, oh my God, I would have been paralyzed. I would have been moving like insane. Cause like the needle is, Anya saw the needle's huge. It's big. Like, yeah, and then he like pulled out like the guy inside. It's that needle's probably like 4 inches long. I'm not even gonna hold you. It's long. And like he was guiding it in. Anya saw it like he was like moving it to try and position it the right way. Like if that would have been me, dude, they would have put me on a 1-to-1. I would have been swinging. Oh my God. But yeah, it was awesome to watch. And then I followed up. I stayed 12 to 4. Now I see I forgot to put it. Whoever goes next, there's a signed PE PESI coincidentally in the same room that the ESPB was in. It just needs a doctor to do the ultrasound. A really kind patient. Should be easy. Just got to find a doctor. But I went to follow up with the patient 3 hours after the initial, after the procedure, and the pain went from 7 to 0. So, yeah. So yeah, I might work, dude. might actually do the thing.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's it. You guys have any goals for your studies this week? Anyone have any pressing goals that they have to achieve for this week? Maybe no goals driven. For sure. Anya,
I guess for unhoused, if you guys can please keep enrolling, we do want to get our numbers up. Dr. BC, Annie and I were talking about getting our numbers up. We're kind of lacking. So if you guys can please help us out with that, we'd very much appreciate it. If anyone feels uncomfortable, please reach out to us. And we'd be more than willing to talk to anyone, just kind of guide you guys through it. It could be pretty intimidating, but we'd really appreciate it.
Have a quick update update. It's not super like crazy. Keep enrolling leads. If you guys haven't noticed, they moved FTH. FTH I think is now closer to the it's closer to the exit. So yeah.
They bought that entire space on.
Yeah.
There's a leak or something.
Yeah, you can. It's just like the wall.
We're all like the
It's like the rooms where we
where the
like where the
X-ray stuff
radiation.
was? Yeah,
stuff
that's-
was.
like where the
Yeah.
What hell with that?
No, it was. Thank you, Joseph. Anything else?
uh,
I think I told Tyler.
yeah, Tyler.
Sorry.
On top of unhoused, whoever goes to shift next, there's one that should be ready to go in the annex. Had been consent shoot, they were sleeping, but I imagine they're probably awake. Shouldn't be sleeping 4 hours. And then for BTW, just be on the lookout. There's going to be something that I need everybody to do soon, maybe like sometime in the next week and a half. I need everybody to get certified. If you want to do it now too, actually, it kind of takes a while, but it's this thing called a MOCA certification. I'll send a link out into the chat, but we all have to get certified. It's free to make an account, but we all have to get certified to deliver one part of this test, just for consistency and to say that we're like eliminating confounding variables in the study. But it's very quick little presentation about how to do the test. You take a little like quiz at the end, and then it gives you like a little PDF that you can download. If you want to look at it right now, like I said, I'll send it into Slack. But once you finish it, please send me your certification PDF so that I can have track of it, have records. And once we all finish that, there's going to be a presentation about the study, and then it should be live. Yeah. What was the first part?
Are we doing the local?
Yeah, that's expected. The mocha, last I checked, doesn't require too much motion. Somebody can actually do it seated. It's a, oh yeah, I mean, fortunately we do have a clipboard, so on that. But like I said, I'll relay back to my PI about the concerns, and then I'll see what we can do to accommodate to that. But it should be fairly accessible.
Want to send that link to Anne?
Yeah, that's fine.
That'd be awesome. And Slack too. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Yeah.
Just like, thanks to the courts, including Jolie, we now have some like supplies, if you guys haven't already seen, including paper clips. So please like feel free to organize like the flyers or like enrollment papers within the clipboard. Cause I know like a lot of people like to include like multiple studies within the clipboard. Just like feel free to use those paper clips to keep them organized. But I'm trying really hard to get like dividers for the binders so we don't have to keep using like sheet protectors that are like falling apart. So just keep a lookout sometime. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah.
Thank you, Anne, our beautiful secretary for organizing it.
If there's no further comments, then I guess that adjourns this meeting. Meeting adjourned.
Now, unless you guys want to stay and watch us.
Thank you guys. All right, take care.